See if I can get some music going here.
The trek is safe despite the unusually heavy rainfall hitting Southern California. Sylvester Stallone's lawsuit against Warner Brothers is expected to land back at the LA County Courthouse this week. Stallone claims the studio based in Burbank has hidden profits from the movie Demolition Man and has denied him his rightful share.
The hell is that?
Sly says he wants an end to the bad accounting practices on Warner Brothers' part that affects all talent. Stallone starred in the 1993 movie about a man who's brought out of a decades-long state of cryopreservation to track down an old nemesis, played by Wesley Snipes.
That sounds exactly like Sylvester Stallone. Rumor locally is he looked in the mirror and he found himself a little short.
Amy King, KFI News.
Alrighty then.
Virginia Democratic Senator Mark Warner says he's concerned President Trump ordered security clearance for his son-in-law, Jared Kushner.
The fact that he, in effect, chooses to give a family member overriding the recommendations of the community bothers me a great deal.
He says although the president has the right to give anyone a security clearance, it's inappropriate to do so until a review from national security officials. Last week, the New York Times reported Trump overruled concerns raised by officials in the intelligence community and granted Kushner a top-secret security clearance last year.
Should be fine.
Michigan Republican Representative Justin Amash says he may run for president in 2020 as a libertarian.
It is important that we have
that's going to
someone
work
in there
also.
who's presenting a vision for America
Should
that is
be fine.
different from what these two parties are presenting.
He said the U.S. needs a president who is presenting a vision for America that is different than what the Democrat and Republican parties are representing. Amash says there's a wild amount of partisan rhetoric on both sides, and Congress is totally broken. He's calling for a return to basic American principles. National Security Advisor John Bolton is calling President Trump's second summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un a success.
It was unquestionably a success for the United States because the president protected, defended American interests.
Bolton said the U.S. is committed to maximizing pressure with sanctions.
I guess
until North
Kim
Korea
Jong looked in the mirror
It's
after
slow going and
the
normal on
summit.
the 5.
He also found himself a little short, and Trump found himself a little
also delays
fat.
on the 105 westbound side getting through Linwood from the 710 over to Long Beach Boulevard. Just hearing about a problem if you're heading into Torrance, southbound 110 at the 405, get a crash here blocking lanes, so things are pretty heavy coming away from the 91.
I've always found problems driving into Torrance.
In both directions, it looks like they're phoned out just before you get to the tunnel.
Okay, to the right is Coast Community College District.
This is Dr. Caltrans for further notice. Stay by the fans, get you there faster.
Don't put that umbrella away just yet. The rainy forecast next.
When we were buying our first home, we had the exact image of what we wanted. But we had no idea how stressful the process would
Okay,
be.
Harbor
We went to
Boulevard.
countless open houses and put in I don't know how many offers,
Harbor.
only to be disappointed over and
I
over.
think
Well, after
I
much frustration, we finally found what we were looking
should
for.
have turned right.
And then the unthinkable happened. We missed the deadline
But
to send the down payment. and we were so
I am on Adams, and Adams cracks through into Huntington, so I'm going to stay on Adams.
See if she could help. She was a lifesaver. She
Should be
immediately
changing
checked for us
law
and
enforcement jurisdictions
to the title company to ensure
here
we got our dream
at
home.
this block.
The kind of favor you'd only expect from a friend.
I've never really had any
Beyond
problems
service
with
reminds me of why we chose
Costa
First
Mesa
Republic in the first
police,
place. I guess you could say that
but they
First
scare
Republic
most of my
left us
friends,
and our life.
as do the Huntington Beach police. But my fear is more of the Orange County sheriffs. They are real cowboys.
40% chance of showers, highs in the upper 50s to mid 60s. For Metro LA and Orange County, the Valley, and the Inland Empire. Cloudy tonight, lows in the mid 40s to around 50. It's going to be cloudy and dry tomorrow. Expect highs in the upper 50s to mid 60s. And another chance of rain coming Tuesday, with heavy rain reportedly coming on Wednesday. Expect highs then in the lower to mid 60s. It's going to be mostly cloudy with a 40% chance of
It's going to be a
showers
real
for your
hump
Thursday
day
and
on
Friday,
Wednesday.
drying out by Saturday. Right now it is 60 degrees in Fullerton, 60 in Anaheim, 58 in Burbank, and 57 and light rain reported in Santa Monica. We lead local. From the KFI 24-hour newsroom, I'm Rosia Rivera.
Hot and heavy pumpkin pie, chocolate candy, Jesus Christ. Girl, nothing please me more.
Architecture is two things, my friends. Shelter and story. Shelter is what makes your home practical. But story, the story that it tells or doesn't tell, is what makes the big difference in your home. So before you give your project a bigger budget, make sure you give it a better story. Design matters most. No amount of money in the budget, no material, no level of craftsmanship, no appliance can make up for a bad design. So get the story straight first, and then apply the budget that you've got. It will make all the difference in the world. We are talking in many ways about that today because we're having a little discussion about tiny homes. The practicality of tiny homes, the reasonability of tiny homes. And one of the things that I mentioned right up front in the show was my concern about the tiny house movement is that so far, and especially the way that it has been portrayed on television, tiny homes have been disconnected from land. Disconnected in the sense that they're being built on trailer frames, which makes them RVs, by the way, and as a result makes them depreciate in value, as opposed to being set onto foundations. But to set a tiny home, a structure like that, onto a foundation means to embed it into land, which means you have to have land, which means you have to have a lot and zoning that accommodates tiny home living. Now, we've also talked about why we're not seeing tiny homes sprouting up all over the place. Because when you cross over that hurdle and say, okay, now we need land, that's when we run up against all sorts of issues. We run up against neighborhoods, established neighborhoods that are kind of, let's just be honest. An established neighborhood, quite often their attitude is, we got ours, and that's a lovely concept, but not in my yard, not in my neighborhood. You have municipalities that haven't really, in their thinking, caught up with tiny home living as a concept for houses have proven themselves practical.
Huntington Beach,
There's the issue of
out of
aging
Costa
adults.
Mesa,
There's the issue of, this is the kind of place that you can
on
raise a
Adams
family.
Street,
If a tiny house is
We're actually
basically a studio
deep
apartment for
Huntington,
singles,
heading north. To the
with a
left
yard,
would be the
then
beach.
there are other ways to accommodate.
And I think I'm gonna go that way, as a matter of fact.
That don't cost as much and don't require a new kind of zoning.
I'm going
So
to
it
take
raises
Brookhurst
questions about the
down
practicality
to
of tiny homes. And then
the
there's the on the pro side of
coast.
smaller homes. There is the whole question of, do we need the size of home that we've gotten used to living in? Back in the 1940s, the average American home size was 1,000 square feet. That's a family home. Now it's around 2,400 square feet. More than doubled. And yet happiness with housing has remained flat. So if you're sitting in your 2,400 square foot home, statistically, you are likely to be no happier with that home today than a family was sitting in their 1,000 square foot home in the 1940s. That says something about us. Says something about the house. That the size
There
of
you
it
go.
isn't really the key factor.
Very good.
And all of this boils down to the question of spatial necessity. How much room do we really need to live out our practical
You see that little
There
kid?
was a study, and I have to answer this email, by the way. This came in.
That guy gave me a dirty look, like I did something wrong there.
Hey, Dean and Tina. Dean summarized an
If I wouldn't have noticed the handicap
on how families
license
really live.
plate, I might have hit him.
When my husband decided he needed
Not
to be
intentionally, I just saw the handicap license plate and I thought, I better watch this guy. He's gonna do something handicapped, and he did.
So I can read it when my husband is done talking. Thank you from Nicole. Well, Nicole, the study was life at home in the 21st century, 32 families opened. And it was done by sociologists at UCLA just a couple, 3 years back. So it's fresh, it's very relevant. And some of the conclusions that they came to are fascinating, including this. Most activity in most homes, regardless of their size, centers exclusively around 3 rooms: dining room, kitchen, and family room. And then the conclusion based
So
on
I'm gonna
that is
upload
many
this
homes
to my
could be
YouTube
up to
channel,
half of their existing
and
size, and still accommodate the exact
I
same lifestyle. And I can't help
am
but
gonna
think that
see
this sense of
if
awareness that we're
I can get
growing
it out of my
in this
phone,
realm
even though I got
is
a
starting
ton of
to
storage.
feed into that
I got
whole
more
idea
storage
of
on this
tiny house
phone,
living. Certainly
the
being
One
driven
Plus,
by that kind of
than I do
mentality, that and
my
the
laptop
move
computer
toward
that's only a
minimalism
couple years
and
old.
cleaning things up and just kind of letting go of the superfluous material possessions that we have that are weighing us down so that we can spend more of our lives.
So my therapist told me to turn on talk radio and try not to interrupt
real life, and they're very practical.
the
My question, though, is simply, is the
talk
tiny
radio host,
400 square foot and less,
'cause I got a problem
is that
of
really
interrupting
the answer, or is it a
with my
pendulum
ADD,
swing from one extreme to the other,
which also
and
lends
lacking
me
practicality. Now, it has
into
grown enough that there are new
staring
buildings
at my video in progress and trying to drive through the camera.
International Residential Code
But
now is an appendix that
I've
is
gotten over
dedicated
that.
to code alterations for tiny house living. In fact, that's where we find that the International Residential Code, the IRC,
I am also
has
driving in my
designated
tiny
that
house,
home
which is a
400
coincidence.
square
It's
feet or less.
irony. The irony
Been chosen.
does not
Primarily
escape me.
because its ability to fit onto a trailer frame and be transported legally on the highway. One of the ways that tiny homes are attempting to find their way over that land issue is not by just being an ADU, an accessory dwelling unit, a granny flat in somebody's backyard. Those are great, and there's a new law in California that's been in effect now for 3 years that has really opened up, forced local municipalities to accept accessory dwelling units, granny flats, guest houses, whatever you want to call them.
All these
And that's fantastic, and that's a chink out of the armor of the housing crisis. But solve the housing crisis all by itself.
All these six-lane
if we're talking about tiny
parkways
houses
that they
coming
cut in
along, then we're talking about the idea
between
of build an entire neighborhood
these
of tiny
neighborhoods
houses.
are
And does
50
that
miles
work
an
well?
hour.
I'm going to talk
They're
to you
like,
about one that is being built right now in Austin, Texas.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago, and the speed limit was 55, so I'm actually driving
concept. We'll talk about that when
in
we come back.
people's backyards
Hopefully,
at 50
we'll have
miles an hour.
time so I can share with you what I think is really at stake.
Now we're hitting
Not the
PCH.
extra large home or the extra tiny home, but more small homes on the market and how we can achieve that. We will discuss that when we come back. And I'd love to take more of your calls. The number 833-2
Coming up on
833, the number 2.
these stacks.
So glad you joined me this morning. Hang
I believe that is a salinization plant to the right that Peter Kiewit has been doing for the last couple of years. A bunch of granola crunchers meet for lunch like on Wednesdays, and they protest it. They're worried about a mammoth pile of salt and fish getting sucked up into that thing.
What would have been his 80th birthday? We'll check weather and your drive on the 110 next.
Hi, I'm Rick Edelman, and I have a feeling...
To the right, there was a fiery accident on,
money is in the right places.
I think it was graduation night last summer.
Will you be able to stay retired? And is your money sufficient so you can live in comfort and
It was real sad.
for the rest of your life? You're wondering all this.
Las Vegas
You really don't
kids
have to just wonder.
came to Huntington for their
in your effort to enjoy a
high school graduation.
you want it to be. And we can
and
help.
they got rear-ended right where I'm sitting at 75 miles an hour by some drunk chick drinking in a bar in Newport.
30 years. So call us at Edelman Financial Engines at
Really
888
sad.
Plan Rick. That's 888 Plan Rick. Or visit us at rickedelman.com. That's ricedelman.com. And don't wonder about your retirement because we're here to help you.
SoCal weather from KFI. It's going to be mostly cloudy today with a 40% chance of showers. Highs in the upper 50s to mid.
I was going to wash my car, but it's raining
Also for the valley
this
and the
afternoon.
Empire.
Be nice tomorrow.
Under the law too. Watch out for a crash in Carson on the 110.
Raining on Tuesday.
405 with the left lane is blocked and things are pretty tough as you're coming away from the 91. Also seeing heavy delays in Norwalk, northbound side of the 5.
Raining on Wednesday.
5, way up ahead. We're heading in through the, well, actually just north of Cascade, northbound side of the 5. A couple miles beyond Penland Highway, got a car fire in the 2 right now, so no problem. Also, Malibu Canyon is shut down both directions just before you get to the tunnel due to boulders on the way. This report is sponsored by Memorial Care Long Beach Medical Center. KFI and Skyhouse get you there faster. I'm Jay Olin.
There's a guy I know who is fairly sane, fairly smart, above average IQ, I would say. And he sees UFOs above the stacks here in Huntington right about sunrise hours. But you got to get 10 miles or more north to see them. You can't see them if you're right in this area, which really doesn't make any sense to me. But I've seen several hundred pictures of these unidentified objects, and I'm kind of skeptical. I don't know if they're really objects at all.
That was the first night I held the flashlight for my dad, but it wouldn't be the last.
I just think
At
he
Dad's funeral,
wants
I
people to
realized that every time he handed
stare
me that
into his
flashlight, he
phone
was
for some
passing the
reason.
torch. And my dad believed
I think he's got a
in
weird
me.
sense of humor.
So I bought the company, Gettle, Goettl. It'll keep you cool, but it's hard to spell.
But they've seen a lot. I saw the weirdest thing about 3 blocks east of here in the evening hours, and I yelled for roommates to come look. A couple of them saw what I saw, and it freaked them out too.
If you're looking for smart ways to save
And I can't even remember who these people were.
Just choose from a great selection of participating
If I'm asked to be on like a UFO documentary and they want to back up my story, I don't have the foggiest idea who these people were. But it really did freak them out too.
Head into your neighborhood Ralph's for the big 4-day sale. It's happening this week, Thursday through Sunday. You'll find hot deals on select family favorites, so be sure to hurry in and stock up and save. For more details, just visit the Ralph's app or log on to ralphs.com. Right now at the 4-day sale, you can take home select varieties of Don Francisco coffee. They're on sale for $2.99 with cards.
Now that's good coffee, Don Francisco. If you haven't tried it, when it's on sale like that, you got to grab a couple bags.
Today could look completely different come tomorrow. It could happen today. Protect your home with earthquake insurance from the California Earthquake Authority.
Okay, right next to the DQ right there is the best burger place. I think it might even be as good as In-N-Out. It is TK Burger. It's like an old house that is the greasiest little burger stand, but it is amazing. As a matter of fact, if I come back this way, I am going to go to TK Burger right there to the right. It's always crowded. We're coming up on Main Street, Huntington, and the pier, and it's starting to rain a little bit.
Free just for attending. Call 800-579-2186. 800-579-2186 for your free kit today.
In the air, they're trying to get this out of the carpool lane and over to the right shoulder on the ground.
Police say the ex-teacher ran into a couple of teens at a parking lot in Garden Grove.
In your neighborhood, in Santa Ana, Corbin Carson can't buy it. KFI, and I heard radio station.
I almost got a couple bikers about 4 months ago. You really got to watch out for them. They do weird things.
KFI AM 640. You're listening to Home with Dean Sharp, the House Whisperer. We're talking tiny homes today, but we're also taking your calls. And I think I'm going to take a call before we dive back into the tiny home world. And if you're still in the tiny home conversation, hang tight, because I want to talk to you about a new community of tiny homes. That might be one of the answers to the problem. But more importantly, even than that, I'm going to share with you my 5 points.
Okay, coming up on
small home design that will
18th, I believe. We're at 16th.
And work for people and
Yes,
make them
we're,
more beautiful, more efficient.
I was living
Yeah,
last
that as well. But first, to the phone,
summer.
Robin. Stacy, welcome home.
Hey, Dean.
Hey.
So I'm love your show.
Thank you.
I'm in the middle of finishing up my 4-month-long kitchen remodel, and I got my counters installed, and my friends are saying, oh, you have to get InstaHot, the hot water instant where you can, fill up your boiler.
Yep.
Stuff, and I was thinking, oh, do I really need that? I mean, I use it all the time, like hot water for my hot water sparklets, but I still want to get rid of it. I don't know, I just didn't know if you had any opinions on the hot and cold water type service for at the sink. Are they really worth it?
How long do you normally wait for hot water to get to the kitchen faucet when you turn it on?
Not too long. but it's definitely not
Nice
boiling or purified.
Couple of minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, few seconds. Is it pretty close to the hot water heater?
No, it's a bit away.
Okay. So here are my thoughts. An instant hot, like from Incinerator, instant hot units are
Yeah, I'm
these little
shooting back
pre-boilers that you fit underneath your cabinet or underneath
east
your sink in the cabinet.
on Golden
You
West.
plug them in,
And I'm coming up on my mini storage. It's where I sleep at night.
And then they stop. By the time they give out, the theory is that the hot
And
water
it's
made
where
it
my
to the
gym's at.
sink and you're ready to go with that. But it doesn't really. They don't really help get the hot water to the sink. They just provide you small amounts of hot water at the sink so that you don't actually use the main hot water coming out of the faucet. And there's nothing wrong with that. We've put in Insta-Hots for years and years and years, but I will tell you this, they tend to be temperamental. And Incinerator is a great manufacturer, and they make a very reliable product in general, especially when it comes to garbage disposals and things like that. But we have replaced so many Insta-Hot units like that under sink that they never get my full-hearted endorsement, because it seems like a nice little solution now, but then you can spend another $300, $400 later on, and this thing goes bad.
This is another one of those
Now, I can't tell you exactly why.
parkways, 50 miles an hour, but the lights aren't timed. It makes no sense at all. So the only way you're going to hit 50 miles an hour in between the lights is if you step completely into it, hit speed, and then immediately try to lock up your anti-lock brakes. I tried it one night and it worked, but what a waste of fuel. I was really bored. I didn't think that this vehicle could do it. I knew that there was vehicles that could actually hit 50 miles an hour and stop safely at the next light. And I did not think I had the horsepower nor the braking power to do that, but I give this vehicle a high safety rating for brakes, and 200 horsepower with fuel injection is surprisingly responsive. I'm able to get on the freeways before their parking lots when everybody's doing 70 with no problem. Took a little practice, but I put my foot into it, and if I got more than 20 yards of entry ramp, I can nudge right in there without really cutting anybody off. I just gotta be assertive down here. Nobody will like flash their headlights to say, "Oh yeah, you go ahead and cut in." You just kind of have to put your nose in between front and rear bumpers a little bit, and it's the only way that they let you in. It's not like when I learned how to drive down here back in '79. They completely ignore you, and you're not a human being unless you're on their Facebook page and you live in Laguna Niguel. Then you're somebody, and they might let you in if they recognize you.
This is underneath the sink. It can be installed by a homeowner, and basically what it does is it draws hot water out of the hot water line, pushes it into the cold water line, and just keeps weeping it until the actual hot water arrives in the line from the hot water heater. So you're not wasting any of that water. You're keeping that in your system. It's just pushing it into the cold water line. And then, you've got hot water at the same time. But was that your question?
Perfect. No, my question was actually about design, but you answered that last part was actually the question I had, so that was a good thing. So,
okay, so I'm going to hit the hold on that guy because we're up against the rope, and hang tight, and you'll be pushed up when we get back. So, all right, everybody, we're talking tiny houses and also answering your calls. You're listening to Home with Dean Sharp, the House Whisperer. Rocio Rivera has the news.
Are you okay there?
I'm okay.
Okay.
I'm okay.
20 horses have died at Santa Anita Park.
Oh yeah, this is a weird one.
Yesterday, Jockey Aaron Gryden says Santa Anita is taking the death seriously.
I personally, as well as my colleagues, have the right to say when the track isn't safe, and we bring it up to management, and when that happens, they're very quick to either address the problem or push racing aside.
Santa Anita closed its track for soil inspection last week. Track officials and state regulators say the track is safe, despite the unusually heavy rainfall hitting Southern California.
Yeah, I can't figure out why.
Soccer legend David Beckham is now a statue outside Dignity Health Sports Park in
I
Carson.
can't figure out why
The
these
statue was unveiled
horses
yesterday before the season opener of the
are
LA
dying.
Galaxy. The sculpture created by the husband and
They're
wife.
thinking it's because of the see, there I go, I'm over talking somebody. They think it's because, oh, I thought she was done. Anyway, they thought it was maybe because of the saturated course, but
And Caroline Carrico are 8 and 5 years old.
they don't know. It's really strange. I think they might
afternoon. Little girls had just asked their mom if they could go for a walk.
organized crime has always been doing weird shit with horses, like putting sponges like in the right nostril to keep their oxygen levels down, and they can really screw up a favorite by doing stuff like that. I guess well, I'm just thinking out loud, and I'm interrupting this lady again. Okay, she had to go take a powder, so I think they're doing something to the horses. They're experimenting with a new way to screw horses up for organized crime. Okay. Yeah, I sleep right across the street. Nobody shoots down here. It's all industrial park type stuff. I got a neighbor, he's got an SUV house, and he's there every night. I think I freaked him out because I've been sleeping inside and down south the last couple months, but I've snuck up on him a couple times. Never met the guy, don't want to. Probably a loser if he's homeless, but there's safety in numbers, so who knows, maybe he's a nice guy, but I think he's probably a loser. So anyway, I'm in my mini storage, and I'm gonna upload this to YouTube and see if it works.